It'd be funny watching like tag teaming out, be like, okay, bye Sydney, and there's like 9 other girls.
Raiding chicken fingers and she's busting ass.
You've been taking more control of your career as a producer on a lot of the projects you've been doing. And in that way, did you see something of yourself in Christy Martin in the way that she had this real drive to make something of herself?
Yeah, I mean, I think Christy's story is so inspirational, and she's such a fighter in her inside the ring and in her personal life. And I think that I hope that she can inspire and relate to a lot of girls out there. And then also just working with David and bringing the story to life and the amazing cast that we have. Like, it was truly a profound story.
Because David, what did it mean to have the real Christy Martin be a part of the production, to be involved in the film?
It was nerve-wracking. I've never worked directly with the subject of a movie I'm making before. I didn't quite know how it would feel. I was nervous about it because it could, it could be an impediment, it could be an asset, it could just be strange. I didn't know. Very quickly, I think we all worked out that having Christy around was a beautiful joy. I mean, obviously an incredible asset, but more than anything else, I just think having that person on set all the time reminding you of the responsibility you carry and the beautiful soul that you are honoring, because she is a beautiful soul. I mean, she beat people up for a living for a long time, but underneath it is a really beautiful human.
Because Ben, I understand that you made a conscious decision not to meet the real Jim Martin, the character that you play in the film. Like, why was that?
Every actor wants to, they have their own way, and I like to get under the hood. But after talking with Dave and knowing how much respect I have for Sid, and then knowing that Christy's involvement, it somehow felt inappropriate. So what we did instead was talk deeply about coercive control, which is illegal in the UK. It's not in North America or across the globe, and it should be. There are people who are suffering daily behind closed doors, not unlike Christy, who had a triumphant survival and career, but I wanted to be in service of that.
And Katy, for you, so many of the roles that you've played now in this film and Love Lies Bleeding, the Mission Impossible film, they're sort of rooted in your physicality. Do you find that you prepare, even train differently for different roles? Like, how do you get ready for something like your role here in Christy?
It's so wild that sometimes you just don't have time to specifically prepare for something. Like, oftentimes I'm given like a couple weeks notice or something. I guess I'm fortunate that I enjoyed doing that as a hobby anyway. And then for this, because, and I don't know how you felt, because I know that you like to train, that's kind of like the fun part, the easy part almost, in a way. And then it's the becoming this character, giving truth to the story. That's the harder part that takes more time to prepare, I think. So for that, it's just, I was so fortunate and lucky that Lisa was willing to give me her time and give me so many details about her process of even like how she puts her shoes on and her socks on. She has a routine, all of that. It was just her being forthcoming enough to give me as much information as possible, and then tried to watch interviews with her and try to get Christy's vibe down too, and just kind of how they interact, which was another reason it was so great having them on set and getting to see how they just play back and forth and tease each other and mess around. And so it's just like, it sets a precedent for like, yeah, these two they're fun. There's something there. Obviously they're married now, but there's something extra there. Yeah.
Sydney, people are already really talking about the physical transformation you make in the movie, the training that you did. What was it about the role that made it seem like you wanted to make that kind of commitment and make that kind of change?
Well, I mean, I couldn't let Christy down. And I also love transforming for characters. That's the whole reason of being an actor, is to be something different from yourself and to challenge ourselves. So I had like 2 months of training. I built gyms in my house, and I had a boxing trainer, I had a weight trainer, I had a nutritionist, and would work out and train every single day. And it was amazing. I loved it. Being able to completely lose yourself for somebody else and then have that person there next to your side. Yeah, it was transformative.
It was exhausting watching her do it.
And in tribute to Sid, we'd shoot a 12-hour day that was dense, we'll say. That would be a gentle word. She would then go train and choreograph the fights that she would do back to back after one after another.
No, I'd be put in the middle of a ring and I'd have like 9 girls and they would just drill me with all the different fights, one after the other, for like 2 hours after we would wrap. And because I really wanted the choreography to match the exact fights that she had in real life. So we would watch all the footage from her fights and memorize all the combinations and then implement those into the fight. So everything you see were her actual fights. And so I'd wrap, I would do that for 2 hours, and then I would weight train.
It'd be funny watching like tag teaming out, be like, okay, bye Sydney, and there's like 9 other girls.
Rating chicken fingers and she's busting ass.
Yeah.
And Chad, for you, you're playing a very recognizable figure in Dun King. What was it like for you to prepare to play that role?
A lot of YouTube. watching. But, you know, I was first introduced to the idea of playing him back with Ali. And having had a great audition, and once it started to get in my body, I've always wanted to play him. And, you know, I come from a place that Don King is huge. His presence, you know, and ABC boxing and Muhammad Ali and, you know, Thriller in Manila, and he's very much a part of all these things. So I've always wanted to play him and want to do justice to it without it becoming caricature. And so, you know, David just was the nudger in that area. So I knew he had my back. So I just went for it, you know, just lived in it.
And David, there's something very unflinching about the movie. And for you, why was it that you wanted to tell Christy's story in a way that wasn't afraid to explore these really dark and disturbing moments in her life?
I mean, you know, in a way, it was the dark and disturbing was what made me want to make the movie. You know, I had a clear sense that in this really wild and colorful story of a like 90s boxing pioneer was actually underneath it was a very important story to tell about how these coercive control relationships function. You know, trying to wrap my brain around what keeps them functioning over, you know, in this case 20 years, and I knew that where Christy's story went was like, it was harrowing, and what the challenge for me then as a filmmaker was just to go, how do I do this without it feeling, you know, being very conscious of not wanting to step into a world of you know, representations of violence against women and all that kind of stuff, but not shying away from the horror, you know, that is very much there and is very palpable. You know, I don't know, it was I could see a big, sprawling movie that would, you know, start almost as a kind of conventional underdog pioneering sports movie, and then morph into something that was deeply moving and important.
Because Ben, Sydney, what was it like for the two of you performing some of those darker scenes in the film, and how did you keep some sense of, you know, humanity between the two of you?
Can I take that?
I mean, been transformed. Like,
So did you. You disappeared, honey.
you disappeared. There were so many conversations around a lot of those moments, and both Ben and I were very much, we don't like to rehearse, and we kind of just want to feel it. And I think we both became very connected to who we were portraying and
Listening.
we just listened.
And Dave created a space where we could do that. We
we
would
just
block
played.
it, we would block it. We did a lot of talk privately. And then we would come in and jam and as you said, nudge. But the truth is, Dave is quality control and would fine-tune moments of our listening. I suppose.
Exactly.
Because, Sydney, you generate so much attention and opinion across a wide spectrum. What do you make of that? Like, why do you think it is that people get so weird about you?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
She's the least weird person, one of the least weird people I know. Drop an engine, etc. But like an operator, does her job, one of the most professional, one of the most talented, understands the game. But the truth is she comes with an open heart and prepped. And she works harder than most actors I've ever worked with.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. Turns up. I mean, these sound like the small details, but man, they are so fundamental when you're making a movie that was tough to make, as this one was. You know, Sydney's there on time every day. Doesn't run back to her trailer between setups. You know, she's just hanging out with us. Turns up in the morning with a smile on her face. Says goodnight at the end of the day with a smile on her face. It's like, that stuff is gold dust.
And is excited about it and passionate about it. And that's something too where sometimes you show up and people are just like, I'm here. I'm not trying to voice for you, but this was clearly a project that meant a lot to you. And you could see that, read that, and the work that she was putting in it made it very obvious and palpable. And that energy consumes everyone. If if the lead of the movie's just not there, then you don't want to be there either.
You feel it.